Today I am going to tell you about an experiment that confused even the greatest scientists, so confused that even today no one has a complete answer to it. And the most frightening part is that this experiment forces us to think that maybe this world, which feels so real to us, is not actually the way it appears. What you are seeing right now, what you are feeling, the chair you are sitting on, the screen you are watching, it is possible that all of this is an illusion that only exists as long as you are observing it. This is not a story. This is pure science. The name of this experiment is the double-slit experiment. Now I will explain it to you in a very simple way, but listen carefully, because as we move forward, things will go from simple to confusing, and from confusing to unsettling. Imagine, there is a wall in front of you. Behind that wall, there is a screen, and in the middle of that wall, there is a thin plate, which has two small holes, which we call slits. Now what do? We shine light towards this plate. Now what does normal logic say? That the light will travel straight, pass through both slits, and create two straight lines on the screen behind. And honestly, if you don't know physics, you would think the same. But when scientists performed this experiment, the result they got shocked everyone. Two lines did not appear on the screen. Instead, multiple lines appeared. A pattern formed, called an interference pattern, just like when two waves in water collide and create a pattern, which means light was not behaving like a particle, it was behaving like a wave. Alright, up to this point it still makes some sense, that light can behave like a wave. But now the real twist begins. Scientists thought, let's forget light, let's try with electrons. Electron means matter, a solid particle. Now clearly, there should be two lines, but the same thing happened again. The same wave-like pattern appeared on the screen, which means the electron, which is a particle, was also behaving like a wave. By this point, the mind starts to shake a little, but the real shock is still left. Scientists thought, let's find out which slit the electron is passing through. They started observing. They placed measurement devices. And as soon as they started observing, the result changed. The pattern disappeared, and only two lines remained on the screen. Now the electron was behaving like a particle. Now pause for a second and try to feel this. When no one was observing, the electron was a wave, and the moment it was observed, it became a particle, which means just by observing, reality changed. Now the question is, can observation really change reality? Do the things we observe become the truth? If that is the case, then is this world not already fixed? Is it being created every moment? Quantum physics says that until you observe something, it does not exist in a fixed state. It exists in multiple possibilities at once. This is called superposition, which means the electron is passing through both slits at the same time. But the moment you observe it, it chooses one path. Now think about it. How strange is that? How can something exist in two places at the same time? And if it can, then are we also, at some level, existing in multiple possibilities? Now listen to one more thing. Scientists went even deeper with the experiment. They fired electrons one by one, meaning only one electron at a time. Now the wave pattern should not appear, but slowly, the same interference pattern started forming again. Now think about it. How can a single electron create a wave pattern by itself? Is it interfering with itself? Is it splitting and going through both paths at the same time? Or is it exploring every possible path? These questions are so deep that even today there are no clear answers. Richard Feynman himself said that this experiment is the biggest mystery of physics. Now one more interesting thing. When scientists try to find out which path the electron took, even then its behavior changes, which means even the presence of information changes reality. Now think, if information, observation, and consciousness together define reality, then are we really just observers of this world? Or are we also the creators of this reality? Is it possible that this universe is a simulation where things do not exist until they are observed? These questions connect science and philosophy together. Even great scientists like Einstein were uncomfortable with this concept. He once said, "Does the moon exist when no one is looking at it?" This question seems simple, but its answer can change our entire understanding. The double-slit experiment teaches us that reality is not as simple as we think. This experiment challenges us, forces us to think, is what we see really the truth, or are we just seeing a limited version? And if observation changes reality, then can we change our life, our reality, with our thoughts? Maybe. This question demands an answer not from science, but from within you. And that is the most powerful thing about this experiment. It does not just teach you physics, it teaches you to question yourself, and maybe that is true knowledge. What you have heard so far was just the beginning. Now we are about to reach a point where physics is no longer just science, but becomes a question that shakes your entire reality. You remember, we saw that as soon as we observe the electron, its behavior changes. Now the question is, how does this change happen? Can just a camera watching change reality? Or is there something deeper behind this, something we still don't understand? Scientists tried to find the answer by going deeper. They thought, let's make observation indirect, meaning we won't directly observe the electron. Instead, we will place a detector that tells us which slit it passed through. Now, logically, this should not affect the result, because we are not directly observing. But the result still changed. The pattern disappeared again, which means just the possibility that information can be known is enough to change reality. Now think for a moment. If just the presence of information can change reality, then is this universe built on information? Is information more fundamental than matter? Some physicists believe yes. And this leads us to a deeper concept, called the observer effect. The observer effect does not just say that you change things, it says you define reality, which means what you observe is what exists. Now imagine, if something is never observed, does it exist at all? This question is simple, but its answer is incredibly complex and still debated today. Now let's talk about another experiment, the delayed choice experiment. In this experiment, scientists made the decision later, meaning the electron had already passed through the slit, and later it was decided whether it should behave like a wave or a particle. And the result? The electron behaved as if it already knew the future decision. Now think, can the future affect the past? Is time not straight, but a loop? If so, are the decisions we are making now already fixed somewhere? Or is reality changing every moment? From here, physics goes even deeper. Some scientists said, maybe all this is happening because we cannot see the full reality. Maybe there are multiple versions of this universe, and in each version, different possibilities exist. This is called the many worlds theory, which means every time a quantum event happens, the universe splits. In one version, the electron goes through the left slit, in another, through the right, and both realities exist at the same time. We just experience one version. Now think, do you also have multiple versions? One version where you did not watch this video, another version where you made a different decision, and each version is living its own reality. This idea is as exciting as it is terrifying, because it means reality is not one, but infinite. Now coming back to the observer, some physicists believe that consciousness, your awareness, is the most fundamental thing, which means without consciousness, there is no reality. Now this concept moves from science into philosophy and spirituality. Some ancient philosophies also said the same, that the world is an illusion, a projection, and the real reality is something else. Now science is slowly moving in that direction. Now one final question. If observation creates reality, then can we control our reality? Do our thoughts, our beliefs, shape our world? Science does not yet give a clear answer, but it does say one thing. Reality is not as solid as we think. It is flexible, it can change, and maybe we are far more connected to this universe than we realize. Now as you are listening to this, ask yourself one question. Was this video already made? Or is it being created right now because you are observing it? And if you stop watching it, will this moment stop existing? These questions will confuse your mind, and maybe that is their purpose. Because the job of science is not just to give answers. The real job of science is to teach you how to ask the right questions. And the double-slit experiment is that question, whose answer we may never fully know. But the more we try to understand it, the closer we get to this universe, and maybe to ourselves.